Hey guys, it's Gort, your favorite goat. I got a few questions from some people asking about Project 9 Live, so I figured I'd give you a little bit of a behind-the-scenes peek at it. So these are real cats. This is real glass. You can compress mobs into transparent block spaces, and they won't take any suffocation damage. I've got a loading area up here in the roof. I've got a couple extra breeder guys here just in case. So basically how this works is you come here, break the glass, you have cats that are bred up already, and you just kind of scoot them over, you make them sit, just kind of crouch down and shove them in this hole, and then you bring yourself out and hit the button. I'm not going to hit the button, that's going to break all my stuff. But you would place the glass here. The cat would be under it. You push the button, it would shove the glass down first, and then it'll activate the rest of the system. So what this is a piston. It's called a piston tape. So it's just a piston pushes a row of blocks, and then another piston pushes another row of blocks, and it goes in a big loop. The secret to this is that there are two loops. There's one loop here, and there's another loop here, so it makes it look like this piston is, well, I mean, this piston is pushing this row across, but it makes it look like the cat comes from nowhere, because it's actually coming from the roof, and then this piston pushes it across. So I actually had to put a trapdoor here, because on the server, the cat butt hangs out the bottom of this, and this trapdoor hides most of it, but I needed to be up just a little bit so that you don't see the tail and the butt popping through here. So when I push this button, this door flops down and covers it for the split second that the cat comes down. So it looks like the cat just kind of appears out of nowhere. Same thing with the other side, you know, of course, it's all mirrored. Let's go hop into my creative test world, and I'll show you a little bit of peek inside of there. Alright, here we are. I've got a couple copies of it here. One that we got torn up a little bit so that we can see in here. So this is actually a double row of glass because cats like to run around and they're not perfectly inside the block. That they can get out of a block, but they can't get into a block. So if you have a block next to it, they're not going to be able to get out. So that's why the extra row of glass is here. But that was actually put in place when I was doing testing, when you'd throw a cat in here, and forgive me for what I'm about to do, but this is a creative world, and this is fake. This is not real. This is not real. It still felt real. We'd put a cat in here and push the button, it crams it down, and then shoves it down the line. And cats will just walk on out of that, so the extra blocks will keep them from doing that. But when you own the cat, you can just make him sit. So in the case of what I did on the GO.a.t server, that would have been fine to just leave these all exposed, because it would just shove them around in a circle and the cats wouldn't be walking around. But anyway, it's there, whatever. So what's happening here is that the cat is in his spot up there, and it shoves it around in a loop this way. Let's put these back, because that guy's not sitting. So this one's going to come down, and then push it over that way. So the one loop here is working in conjunction with this loop over here. The purpose of that is so that I can have these extra blocks over here that are, in fact, being pushed. And it looks like it's a conveyor from this point on around. Alright, here's the big moment. Let me steal a trapdoor here. So, boop. There he goes. Magic cat. I had so much fun putting this thing together. I don't think I've ever laughed so hard doing a test build, but the process of loading cats into this box and pushing the button probably had me laughing harder than I've ever in Minecraft. It was a complete mad scientist moment. So I've gone over all of this, the basics of that, but if you want, you could stick around and I'll ramble on about some of the other things. The chambers here, these are kind of neat. There's nothing too much special to it, but one trick that I use a lot, most of you guys have probably seen this, but it's the fact that observers will create a pulse when you move them. You know, you can see the piston going, but the thing is that it's creating a one-tick pulse, so it makes sticky pistons drop their blocks. So that's what's going on here. Is the first time it goes, it'll make it drop the block up, and then it'll pull it back on the next one. See these blocks dropping and retracting every other time. This observer is powering this block between the targets, which has some wire in here, which is powering this piston and that piston, but the other two pistons need power from somewhere else. That's what I got these target blocks for. Target blocks will actually pull a redstone signal from some wire laying next to it. It used to be that, you know, you couldn't do that with blocks. It would just go this direction no matter what. So now that we got target blocks, those will actually pull the line this way and let these be powered. Not exactly the same, but similar as up here. It's just I was able to, you know, you can power all these blocks over that. And back here we just have a glass tower with some wire coming up here, and that's how this part works. This is all regular pistons, and maybe we can get a peek inside here if I remove the wall. Okay, so I've cleared up some more stuff behind here, so you should be able to see just about everything behind here. There's another piston here. Okay, so we're going to push the button, and immediately the glass shover block is going to push down. The button's behind this one. And this repeater's going to add a little bit of delay before it shoves the column downwards. So the column down is going to fire, and then these two pulsers are going to fire, and they're going to send signals out to the next parts of the chain. So the next part is, if we follow this, it's the side pusher. So first we fire downward, which is going to bring this column all the way down to this empty space here, and that would make a cat be in this spot right there. Next, this piston's going to fire, and it's going to shove this whole row across, and then the next one is going to be this one from below. It's going to be pushing up to fill the empty space that was just created there. And then this block would have been here already because that column pushed down. So this one fires next, and it will fill this what would be an empty space. So we'll push there, and then while this is all going on, a similar situation is going to be happening over here. So this would have been pushing down, across, and then this one's going to push up, and then this one's going to push over. All that happens somewhat simultaneously, and that's about all there is to this thing. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this short little explanation video. I'll try to keep these things up and give you a little bit of behind-the-scenes peek at things as they happen. I will see you guys later on the G.o.a.t server.